Merry Christmas, Tommy. Like your birthday video, I'm sending you this Christmas video with the hope of brightening your day a little bit and making it a bit special. Obviously, I wish I could be over there with you, or maybe not over there, but with you no less. But anyway, since I can't, this is the next best thing I can think of. So, this time around I'm going to spare you the trauma of my singing, and instead I'm going to read you your birthday present. Mr. Hustle. Now, a little bit of background to your birthday present. We have a children's book series here in Australia that's quite popular, and it's called Mr.Men, and Little Miss in fact. So some of the series, like for instance, there's Mr. Cool, Little Miss Naughty, and like I said, there's a whole range of these characters, so like Mr. Happy, Mr. Strong, Mr. Tickle, Mr. Messy. But I have made you into a Mr.Man, and you're Mr. Hustle. Now, I was actually going to pop this one in the post for you, but seeing I didn't get your address in time for Christmas, I thought I'd read it to you on video instead. So, hope you enjoy it. It's certainly going to be one of the most original Christmas presents you've ever received, I'm sure. Anyway, here we go. Mr. Hustle by Amy McMahon, soon to be Mrs. Johnson. One day, someone new moved into Mr. Men land, and his name was Mr. Hustle. He was called Mr. Hustle for a number of reasons. He was always running some hustle or scheming some plot. He was very successful at hustling the ladies, and I don't know if you can see there, but he's covered in kisses. But most of all, it was because he was always on the go, hustling and bustling about. Busy, busy, busy was Mr. Hustle. It was his work that made Mr. Hustle so busy, and he worked very hard. From early morning until late at night, Mr. Hustle would work, work, work. His company was very happy with him, and they paid him a lot of money because he worked so hard and did such a good job. So one day he decided to buy a new shiny car with all that money that they paid him. But poor Mr. Hustle was so busy, he hardly got to drive it. Work, work, work is all Mr. Hustle would do. He got to travel a lot with his job, which was very exciting. But the only problem was Mr. Hustle was so busy, he didn't get to see any of the places he would travel to. He was too busy to go out and have fun or make friends or anything like that. In fact, the only friends he ever spoke to were people on the internet in between work emails. Mr. Hustle was so busy he hadn't even seen his own house for months and months, and it had become covered in cobwebs. One of Mr. Hustle's internet friends was little Mr. Jour, and she had invited him to take a short holiday and come to her house so they could play and have lots of fun. She lived in paradise, and it would have been a lovely holiday. But poor Mr. Hustle was so busy he didn't make the time to go, so he missed out. So Mr. Hustle suggested to little Mr. Jour that she should take a holiday and come and visit him instead. They could watch the fireworks together in New York on New Year's Eve. That sounded like a lot of fun, and she was very excited. But Mr. Hustle was so busy he didn't make the time to have her over, so she missed out. Work, work, work. Poor Mr. Hustle. But it was very important work that he was doing. His company was a very important company, and the work they did was so important that it was top secret. Only because of this, he couldn't really tell anyone what it was that he actually did, even his friend little Mr. Shaw. This made things difficult because little Mr. Shaw didn't understand why Mr. Hustle was so busy, and she just thought that maybe he didn't like her that much. But he couldn't let that stop him. His work was too important, so he kept on working. Because Mr. Hustle was so dedicated and worked so hard, one day his company decided to give him the most important job of all. I can't tell you exactly what it was, of course, because it was top secret, but I can tell you this. It was so important that it meant Mr. Hustle was going to change the world. Mr. Hustle was very happy that he'd been given this very important opportunity, and he worked harder than he ever had before, day and night. In the end, Mr. Hustle worked so hard that he really did change the world, and that made him feel really good. He felt like a real superhero. But after a while, he started to feel like something was missing from his life. He had spent so long working so hard to make life better for everybody else that he had forgotten about his own life. In fact, he worked so hard that he didn't have a life at all. All he had was his work. He thought about all the things he'd missed out on because he was so busy working so hard, like having fun with friends and spending time with family, even starting a family of his own and raising little superhero children. And he thought about his friend, little Mr. Shaw, and what a shame it was that he'd missed out on that holiday in paradise. And he thought what a shame it was that she had missed out on that holiday in New York. And he decided he didn't want to miss out on those things anymore. So finally he made the time so they could take a holiday together, and it was a lot of fun. In the end, it didn't matter that they had missed the fireworks together on New Year's Eve, because they were too busy making their own instead. So there you have it, Mr. Hustle. Merry Christmas, baby. I love you so much. I can't wait till we spend our Christmases together, and birthdays, and every special day, and every other day as well, just the normal days, you know, where we can sleep in on Sundays and just do things together. I can't wait. Yeah, so, well, I hope I have made your Christmas a little bit special, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year when we can spend it together. I love you, baby. Merry Christmas.